You're raving with RWR. Fabulous songwriters from Belgium and beyond, the lowlands, the highlands, and far across the pond. On Instagram and Facebook too, you can follow, like, and share. Please hit subscribe and join the tribe from the comfort of your chair. You're raving with RWR. Hi everybody, and good evening, and welcome to Raving with RWR, episode 73 here on my YouTube channel. Songs from the RWR Room, dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond. Dahi is my name, and I am here in Belgium, and it's very nice to see you all once again, broadcasting most Wednesdays and Saturday nights here. And if you're watching live, you know the drill. Drop up a comment there, let us know where you're watching from. We have Stephen, Mr. Good Mojo, from downtown Marscourt. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Anybody else have comments or questions later on, throw them up there as well. If it's your first time to the channel and you are watching on YouTube, please consider hitting that subscribe button down there for me, folks. It just helps me build the channel, get the songs out there, get the videos out there. It helps the songwriters a great deal as well. Tonight's stream brought to us courtesy of the great people of G-Sharp Guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars. You can check them out there and in the description below. There is a PayPal link for the show, folks, in the description below, maybe even in the comment section. I think I put it up there as well. If you want to throw some shekels in to support what I'm doing here, all donations greatly received. You can also, of course, go to therwroom.com, have a look at the shop there. There are t-shirts and mugs and all kinds of goodies in the shop. I do have a few of these things left as well. It's the Kaiser Capo, courtesy of my dear friends in Texas. Kaiser Capo has made the RWR Room custom capo for us. It's a black and white beauty there, and I have a few of them left in stock. If anybody would like one, just drop me a mail. It's about 20 euros plus postage. So there you go. That is the advertising done and all the shop stuff mentioned. Chris as well. Great link from Deutschland. Guten Abend, sir. I hope you're doing fine. Mr. Martin Dunnigan is there from Shannon Bridge in County Offaly. That's me, Da. How you, Da? And Anna is there too, I'm sure, in the background. Great to see you, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening, episode 73. Yeah, I don't know. Will I stop after 100, lads? Let me know in the comments below. I was thinking maybe I'll do 100 of these and take a break from it. I don't know. Maybe I should do 1,000 of them and then take a break. I don't know. Let me know later on what you think in the comment section below. What was I going to say? Yes, I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going over to talk to our guest tonight. All going to plan. Somewhere in the wilds of Ireland is Robin James Hurt. Are you there, sir? You have yourself muted. Unmute yourself, Vic.
We were
just talking about it. Normally it's me that's muted and forgets to unmute. How are you?
I'm grand. I muted myself so people aren't listening to me talking to my dog, basically.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Dougal. He's black and white and he's running around.
As in Father Ted Dougal.
As in Father Ted, and also as in the dog from the Magic Roundabout as well.
I forgot about that, Dougal. You have a cup of tea, have you? Sláinte, sir.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Cheers.
You're a good head. Not often you see two Irishmen drinking tea of an evening. Well, I suppose you would, but
yeah. It depends, but you know, you do actually. In fairness, and I've always been a big tea drinker. My mom instilled that in me, a love of drinking tea, and I was only actually thinking about this just before I came on air to you that I think this week I'll have got through a box of 80 tea bags, probably in about a week, in about 7 or 8
in a week. Yeah, that sounds like something I would do as well.
I'm wondering what's too much. You know, with cigarettes and stuff, it always used to be like 20 a day, 40 a day.
That's the limit.
I wonder the limit is for tea bags. What's considered acceptable for tea bags?
I say 80 is on the verge of it now somehow. I'd say we're touching. You're touching.
That's in the lockdown, you know, as a musician. You've got to find something to do all day. So I do drink an awful lot of tea.
Oh, so do I. What is your background? There's a Scottish thing going on there. There's an Irish thing going on there. Explain that to us, please, would you?
A bit of everything. I'm a sort of kind of Irish, Scottish, English, French, German, Polish sort of kind of thing, roughly. But I was born in Belfast. My family were living there at the time. and then we moved to Scotland when I was 4, 3.5, 4. We moved to Scotland to a town called Pennycook, which is outside of Edinburgh, and I grew up there and lived there till I was like sort of 21, 22. Then I moved to Dublin, playing in a band. I met a guy called Martin Fury, who's a great singer-songwriter.
Yeah, he is.
His dad, Finbar Fury, of course, and Martin was in the High Kings, but he's also done a lot of solo stuff, and he played in a band called Bohinta back in the day, and I was the guitar player in that band, and that was how I ended up with him moving to Ireland from Scotland, because he was at uni in Edinburgh, and I just met an advert. I did an advert up at a music shop, guitar player looking for singer-songwriters and different people to collaborate with, and I was like 17 at the time, and he answered, and kind of we just kind of got going from there. So I think I was 17, he was 19 or whatever, and we just kind of, so that was nice. That was how I ended up moving to Ireland, and then the band broke up after a while, but we sort of all kept in touch. The rest of them moved to England mostly, and they're all Martin's sister Anya is here back in Ireland a long time now.
She's brilliant too, yeah. Martin and Anya Fury, they had a duo for a while there too, didn't they?
Yeah. They were the kind of more sort of thing in Bohinta and everything. And playing with Martin was great. Like, that was great because with him, he was one of the people I got to do some of the bigger things in my kind of career, particularly a career up till before I became a kind of a solo act. I was more like I was a lead guitar player and kind of a session musician, and kind of bands as well, and did a lot of kind of session work as a lead player with different people. And then with Martin, with Bohinta and stuff, we played Glastonbury Festival twice, which is brilliant. We did an album in Real World Studios in Bath in England, Peter Gabriel's studio. So we did some quite big stuff. And that was kind of cool, as that was one of the, and that he's the only person I've ever played Glastonbury with. But I loved that. That was one of the biggest things I've ever, like, I'd be telling my grandkids about. We did it twice, 1999 and 2004, and it was just amazing. And we weren't even on the smallest stage. Now, we weren't on a big stage, but we were on a reasonable enough stage because he had an English at the time.
Yeah, but how lovely.
So it was amazing. Like, it was just a real, like, walking around going, I can't believe it. I'm at Glastonbury. I've been there when I was 18 as a kid. Well, not as a teenager. And when I was 18, I was like, right, I'm not coming back here till I'm playing here, sort of thing. Like, I'm not coming back till I'm playing. I actually kind of did, which is amazing. Like, you know, it's a really lucky break to get. And, you know, it's not, I wouldn't, like, it wasn't exactly world famous, but it was just nice to have done it. It was amazing.
Yes.
Nice,
Oh, I can imagine. And what is going on at the moment? I mean, I know with this lockdown stuff, it's all kind of at a standstill. But you've been embracing the live streaming thing. You're live streaming every Sunday, every week at least. And you're doing lots of that,
Yeah. Basically, what happened was after I did all the kind of band stuff, then I started doing solo stuff, kind of in the kind of like around 2007, 2008, and. I put out a couple of EPs and albums and things, a few different things. I did an album then with a concertina player. I had other people playing on the albums with me. I'd be gigging with other people as well. But I was kind of starting to do this more of the solo-y kind of thing, or pseudo solo-y kind of thing. And I was getting really busy gigging with that, and I was making a decent living from it, playing a lot of gigs in, as well as touring around the country and abroad in Europe and stuff. I was doing a lot of regular gigs in Temple Bar in Dublin, doing these sort of afternoon sets, and during the week, like Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons, entertaining the tourists, which is kind of nice, mellow kind of gigs. And it was sort of like a 9-to-5 job sort of thing. So and I was starting to get a lot of really nice local gigs around North Wexford where I live, because I moved to North Wexford about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago.
Are you there that long? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And but for a long time, I was just a complete blow in here. I was just going up and down to Dublin for gigs all the time, up and down doing weddings and other gigs, and traveling abroad, off to the airport all the time. I have a daughter in America, and I have the family, my dad and stuff in Scotland, so I'd be always away.
Right.
When lockdown happened, particularly, everything was just gone. I couldn't travel to see my daughter. There were no gigs. Like, the money was gone, everything. And I was really busy with the gigs because I was doing all these little gigs.
You were flat out. You were,
I was doing like sort of 8 or 9 gigs a week, because I'd be doing 2 gigs on some days in Temple Bar in different pubs.
Yes.
And it's, amongst other things, as well as like making a living, it's kind of addictive or whatever, where when you're used to performing all the time and entertaining people all the time, and people are clapping and loving it and getting their hands in there, stuff, and then you suddenly don't have any of that. That's a bit weird.
It's gone, yeah.
Everything has gone. So, but I kind of like my neighbours. I live in a little terrace of houses. It's an old converted Coast Guard station in North Wexford, and really nice. And my neighbours here are all really sound. But they were sort of like, "This is great. We've actually got to see you now for the first time in 4 years. You're actually here." Sort of things. So that had its kind of benefits, and just kind of, I was very, very lucky indeed, and I'm really thank my lucky stars for the fact that I'm able to live in this place, because it's in a really picturesque location. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's great for the lockdown type of thing, because I've been able to just go out walking a lot. I've got much more healthy. I'm eating much better, and I got a dog, Dougal, as well. I always wanted a dog. I couldn't get a dog. I was on the road, so I thought, well, realistically speaking, gigs when they come back are going to be kind of different. It's not going to be as hectic as it was. It's just not going to be. So this is where the dog kind of thing came in, and he's been great keeping me company for the last, since 23rd of March is his birthday, actually. So his birthday, his first birthday, is coming up next month. But,
a real lockdown dog, yeah. Just when it all came down, the shiza hit the fan, yeah.
He was my next door neighbour's dog had a litter of pups, and he was one of them, basically. So,
okay.
But so he's great. He's fantastic. But that was kind of what. So when the lockdown hit, the first thing I did then was, it was around St. Patrick's Day when it all locked down, just before. Yeah. And normally I'd be doing loads of gigs on St. Patrick's Day. So everybody has started going on about this Facebook Live thing. So me and all the other folk that played in Temple Bar, we all did our own little Facebook Live things on St. Patrick's Day for the crack. And then, the live stream thing kind of took off, and I just started doing it. And I'm kind of used to doing sort of regular gigs. If I get a gig in a venue like a bar somewhere that there's a nice kind of crowd, a listening crowd, and they like the sort of stuff that I do, then the next thing I'm still playing there like 8 years later or something, on at least monthly basis or something, because the people like it. And if you fit in with people, it's nice. And so, like the Temple Bar thing, that you'd be missing that. So the live stream thing was a bit of a way of kind of doing that. But what happened with it was, the great thing with the live stream thing, which I didn't really cop at first, is because you're playing to the internet, it is very weird playing into your phone.
Very strange. Yeah.
Very strange. But the nice thing about it, if you can adapt to it, is that you've got all these different people from around the world watching you. From I said in the press release about Patagonia and Afghanistan and stuff, but I actually did have Belfast, who's living in Patagonia, who tunes sometimes and still does. And there's another lady, she's back in America now, but she was in Afghanistan as a paramedic with the US military, and she was watching the streams and stuff, and had people there was a Mongolian woman once was watching. Mongolia. I've had people from from Australia watching, from New Zealand, with the time difference thing, quite often they watch it on rewind, but they get in touch afterwards and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans, all different parts of the States.
It's crazy. Well,
it's lovely. And then your next door neighbor is watching as well. And I love that. See, I really enjoy that buzz. I like that thing of being able to connect. It's something. It's not even making up for doing a gig. It's something different. You couldn't do it in a gig. You couldn't have all these people together.
No. We have Germany, Belgium, probably Ireland tonight. So that's a good start. Yeah, it is. Maybe a few Scottish too. Who knows? We have good.
Well, that's a great thing. That's one of the great things.
It's fantastic. I love. It's great about that.
People together. I am. I have to say, I've become a huge fan of that. So that was why I did this album thing then.
And that goes out on your Facebook page, Robin James Hurt Music, right? Yeah, sort of every Sunday, is it? Every Sunday at 9 p.m. Irish time, which is 10 p.m. Central European. And over here, yeah.
And it's on my Facebook, Robin James Hurt. It's not actually on my music page. It's actually on my regular page, because I just started doing it there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Doing it. But you can just look for me, Robin James Hurt. It's on publicly.
You'll find it, yeah. And you probably share it on both places anyway.
Page, and also it also goes out on my YouTube channel, which is just search for Robin James Hurt in YouTube and give me a subscribe there if you can. It'd be absolutely fantastic. But
yes,
the YouTube thing, just out of curiosity, just for when I do the Facebook thing, I do it on my phone, and it's a portrait shot. And some people prefer landscape for watching on their TV.
For a bit wider,
YouTube with this webcam here that we've got, I just moved the camera over there, and it's for my desktop. So the YouTube is landscape and the Facebook is portrait, in case anybody wants to.
All right. That's good. Good to know this technical stuff. Absolutely. Everything, folks, will be linked from Robin James Hurt. Of course, you get all the social network links will be on robinjameshurt.com. Tell us about this first song, Robin, that we're going to play. "Come Away Home." Lovely live take here with a 4-piece with a string quartet. Yeah, gorgeous.
This song actually goes back to my first solo album in 2008, and it's a song that I wrote myself. The lyrics to the verses are from an old Scottish emigration. I believe it was a song. I just saw the words. I don't think it was a poem. I think it was a ballad song. But I got the idea. I got the verses basically from that. I found it online, and it was public domain. So I kind of used that. And then middle eight lyrics, I wanted something different. And I was looking at a lot of border ballads at the time. So I kind of took some lines from a border ballad, "Tell Me, My Love, How I Woo Thee." So and the chorus line I came up with myself, the lyrics for that, the "Come Away Danny" thing. It just kind of sort of tied it all together. And I put my own music. It came together very quickly. I wrote it in the morning, but the song on my first solo album that people seem to really like, and a couple of people like messing around doing covers of it and stuff and things.
Sure.
And then this guy, two friends of mine, Aidan Murphy and Jodie Trahey, were organising this thing at the time called the Bamboo Sessions, where they had different acts playing with a string quartet, which Aidan himself did the arrangements for, accompanying each act, and each act would do about 4 songs. So you'd pick the 4. He would pick the 4 songs of yours that he liked. He would write his own string arrangements for them, and you'd get a rehearsal with this. He had this really good string quartet with Ken Rice and Leo Bapetri, and these like big kind of Irish string musicians. So fantastic. And this is from that gig. It's just filmed kind of from the audience, but it's a nice little.
It is.
It's playing with real strings is incredible.
Absolutely great sound to it. We'll give it a spin, Robin, and come back and we'll talk maybe a bit more about what you're working on right now as well. So let's give it a play. Gorgeous song, "Come Away Home," folks, from Robin James Hurt. You're watching Raving with Rua, listening to Robin James Hurt. "Come Away Home," great track. See you in a few minutes for some more chat with Robin. Give it a spin here.
When the Mayflower beats through the snow, come when the hummingbird seeks the wild rose, come when the hunter is stuck in the cave, come when the autumn sets maples aflame. Come away home, darling. Come away home to me. Come away home, darling. Come away. And the first gets away to the maple leaf, but still we lay claim to a highland chief. Whether you're winning or losing your fight, the latch string is iron and the heart burns bright. Come away home, darling. Come away home to me. Come away home, darling. And the Rory will play and she will sing, and Sunday will play for the Highland come when the hummingbird sees the wild rose, and whether you're winning or losing your fights, the latch strings are the heart's words. I'm going home tonight. Going home to me, going home, darling, come away home, darling, going home to me, going home, darling, come away, come away to me, Hawaii, Hawaii,
Absolutely lovely, sir. That's a lovely
Thanks, thanks. Yeah.
Just that sometimes when we play these videos back, I'm screen sharing them, folks, so they can get a bit squashed. So I'd encourage everybody to suss out all of these videos themselves later on, listen to them with their own systems. You know how it sometimes can be on these streams. But anyway, lovely to be able to play a sample of them anyway, even if they get a little bit what's the word? Compressed. Thank you. That's the word.
Aye.
Yeah,
no,
well, little thing.
It was a real that again. I was saying earlier that Glastonbury Festival is one of the best things I've when we highlight things. That gig that night, doing that with that string quartet, was one of my favorite things that I've done as well, because it was just incredible. The feeling. It was in this beautiful theatre in Dundrum, Mill Theatre. And the sound was fantastic, because the two guys, the other guy that was organising the thing with Aidan, Jody Trahey, is a professional sound engineer, like a really high-end professional.
Great.
So the sound was fantastic. He was looking after that. The whole thing was just like a dream gig.
Lovely when it falls into place like that,
and the sound, the strings were impeccable. They had everything kind of, it really was. It was just like a real.
Really?
You felt like you're playing some. I don't know, some massive kind of you're playing some kind of Albert Hall type of experience.
Yeah,
it had that amount of it was that important to me. It felt that moving in that sense. It was a real, just particularly because of the strings. It was really because of the string section. And your man had done really nice arrangements. Like we did an instrumental tune of mine called The Spider's Legs, which anybody that knows any of my stuff would know that it's kind of one of my signature instrumentals, but it's quite intricate. And there's a particularly intricate section, and the fiddle player, or the lead violin player, Ken Rice, Ken had the whole thing sussed, and it was like he was almost. It was incredible. Like he was sort of like, "Oh, are you sure you're not rushing it a little bit there?" I was like, "Oh God, I am sorry." He was absolutely perfect.
Of course. It's amazing to be able to
feel it as well. It was lovely. He was a great, incredible man. Like that's because I'd heard of him. He was like a really famous kind of Irish violinist. Sitting there rehearsing with him, I was like, "No, that's fine. We'll do it, Yuri. That's
What do you say? What do you say?
Yeah.
What was it like? Your youth in music. You know, the main influences then for you before you sort of found your own voice. What were you? Were you always an instrumental guitarist?
No,
instrumentalist first, songwriter first.
Yeah, I was. See, it's an interesting thing because I was from the off, when I very first picked up a guitar, I kind of had notions of being a sort of a songwriter and lead guitar player or something. But like, I kind of really wasn't. It came quickly obvious that I wasn't really a great lyric writer. I just didn't. I could write. I've got a good vocabulary and I can write prose well. But it just didn't really work with lyrics. It was just very hackneyed and stuff. But when I met Martin Fury and started playing with him, he really taught me a lot. He learned a lot from being around his dad and the Fury brothers and a lot of other musicians in the 70s and 80s, folk musicians. And his dad had just done an album with Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics at the time. And Dave Stewart was like listening to some of Martin's kind of rough songs and giving advice and things. So Martin taught me a lot about dynamics and kind of accompanying people as a guitar player. And that was where I started getting into the thing of being a lead guitar player. And I was really into people like Peter Buck from REM and like Mike Campbell. And also I was into kind of folk rock crossover stuff like Richard Thompson and people like that, and John Martin.
Brilliant.
I was massively into Richard Thompson. I was also really into Dinosaur Jr., a band called Dinosaur Jr. from the States, a guy called Jay Mascis, who's a singer guitarist from Massachusetts. And they were they were before Nirvana, around the same time as before, and a little bit more kind of, they're very noisy, but they had a very good kind of melodic sensibility in a lot of the stuff. They had these real kind of like hooky kind of songs with this kind of, but with a lot of whacked out kind of noisy guitar and stuff, and I got mad into them as well. And when you're that age, you're a bit of a melting pot. Like part of me, I was really into metal. I went to loads of metal gigs when I was like 17, 18.
Teenage stuff,
Onslaught, Maiden, Slayer. I saw Slayer and Nuclear Assault doing a double bill. That was great. Got a crick of my neck for headbanging. It was. So I was into all sorts of stuff around that age, and that was kind of big thing. So as a guitarist, like then I kind of, but once we moved to Ireland and stuff, and particularly when that band broke up, I just started playing with loads of different singer-songwriters. And I met yourself in Dave Murphy's singer-songwriter night in the International in 1994.
Jeez, did you?
That's the first time I met you.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I remember that gig very
we
well.
both had long hair in those days, I think.
We did. That's why I didn't recognize you now.
We both had long hair in those days. And you're a great singer and songwriter, and I think at the time you were maybe already gigging in Europe, or there was something about he's moving to Europe, or there was some kind
I was over and back a lot. Yeah,
that was it was all but like he's really cool. He's always really
he's made it
in Europe and stuff. I was there with Pavel Barter, who I ended up playing in the West 70s with the band with him and Mick Morris, and we met Mick through that as well. And that gig, I met so many people that have gone on to do
they were brilliant.
Through that singer-songwriter night. It was incredible.
It was.
That was a huge influence on me as well. In terms of influences, that kind of scene and just getting in and jamming with different singer-songwriters and playing with different people and backing their material. I got into this thing. A lot of people were sort of like asking me to do gigs with them and asking me to record with them and stuff because he liked the way I was kind of playing guitar, and it wasn't just like a session player. It was more kind of like a sort of a kind of like more like a band guitar player, but doing it in a session in a way, like with different people. And so I was doing that for a long time. So the interesting thing about that is that I got very used to working with different songs and different songwriters and different people asking you to do different things. And you get an appreciation of that side of it. And you figure out what works melodically along with lyrics and what sort of things I did anyway. This is one of the things that people seem to like that I brought to the process, was that I would be good with coming up with kind of like riffs that would be or melodies that would be quite integral to the song. and stuff and things, and kind of like co-write / arrangement things, or things like with the West 70s, where the other two guys would come in with rough ideas for songs, like fairly composed, and we'd kind of put them all together, the three of us or four of us with a drummer, but like work to the extent of like rewriting parts of the song, not just like I'll play the bass, I'll play the drums, like actually like working out chorus parts and like structural things and chordal things and melodic things and stuff. So I've always been into that kind of co-writing thing, and I've always been into sort of working with songwriters and working also with producers in sessions where they're sort of like looking at you to bring a song to a certain place or to do something with it, you know. And particularly with me, like I said, my kind of playing, I tended to get brought in with people like a sort of a not like a sort of a jazz technique kind of player, more like a bringing in parts and tones and riffs and kind of things that are kind of underpinning the song. Like I did a thing for a girl, and it was recorded in Dublin, in Bow Lane in Dublin. It was probably about 17 years ago now, and she was going, Stephanie Kirkham, I think her name was. She was signed to EMI, and she was wanting. They had Nick McCabe from the Verve to play lead guitar in the session, and he couldn't do it. And luckily enough, the engineer in the studio knew me and managed to get me in. So, and that was kind of that sort of lead guitar, effectsy kind of lead guitar stuff, like the Verve kind of thing. I was quite good at all that kind of end of it. And then around then was when I was really getting back into the trad thing and the folk thing that I've been doing kind of with Martin Fury at the beginning, as well as doing our kind of band thing. It was kind of folk rocky. We'd always been into that, and he got me through, you know, with his dad and stuff. He got me an appreciation for like kind of backing him. He'd be playing the pipes, playing tunes, or whistle, the low whistle, and kind of learn to play that, and be kind of teaching me to back him and stuff. So I got more and more into that in my 30s, and got into a trad band called Gail Schlee with a guy called Siobhan Warfield and a guy called Dave Keegan, a great drummer and percussionist from Dublin. And we had various different fiddle players and people playing with us over the years. And we did a few albums and toured around in Europe and in the States and all over. And that was a good band. That went really well. And we did a lot of big things, festivals and stuff. And when that kind of finished up was when I started doing my own thing. And that brought me to how it kind of came about. So, and I had, in terms of influences there, around 2005, there's a guy called John Doyle. He's an Irish-American guitar player, an Irish guitar player.
Great guitarist indeed.
Yeah, you know, and he did Solace, and he did his first solo album. I think it was his first solo album, or it was the first kind of one that I heard of around 2005. And I heard one song of it on the radio, and it was it was a song about Barbary, going to New Barbary, and it blew me away. And I thought, my God, if I did a solo thing, I would love that kind of instrumentation, that kind of thing behind it. That banjo, that guitar thing, that kind of, what way is he playing that guitar? I bought the album and I just wanted to give up. I was actually almost crying.
It's shocking good.
So good.
I know.
My wife at the time, my ex-wife just said, "Don't listen to that anymore. Just stop listening to that. You're just making yourself unhappy." Yeah, but I did learn things from that and from other things, and just that was kind of making me think about going in directions and like trying to bring in all this stuff that I'd kind of picked up working in other people's songs over the years, you know.
Lots of external influences, lots of different styles, obviously, then deep into what you do, which is very obvious, I think, in you. Because, as I said, not only do you I suppose, you know, you're certainly a songwriter, but I suppose you're probably more comfortable sort of as a hired gun, as a, you know, instrumentalist, guitarist, producer, that kind of stuff. There's a track called Crohan to the Sea that I'd like to play, which is an instrumental thing that you just sit you on the beach, and it's a gorgeous piece. Tell us a little bit about that, where it's from, the inspiration behind it, please.
Yeah, so where I live here at Kilmichael in County Wexford, basically Crokin is a mountain which is that way inland.
Oh, you pronounce it Krogan. Okay, I thought I see.
And there's a book actually called Crokin to the Sea, which it's a kind of a catalogue. It's an old document, a thing of like a historical thing of all the history of the local area, and land and who it's been owned by over the years, and all kinds of like tables and statistics of things and stories and anecdotal things and photographs. I had to track it down. It's long out of print. I tracked it down on eBay and got it. Yeah, because it was. This is at the beginning of the lockdown thing when I started getting more, particularly within the 2K limit, as it was a 2 kilometer limit. It's like, right, okay, well, let me start getting more into what's going on in the area, sort of thing, you know. And I started like kind of making more friends with people in the area and getting to know more people in the area and getting to know about the local kind of families and local the local community and stuff. So it was interesting. So that was making me think a lot more about kind of the way I was starting to root myself in the area. Even before lockdown, with getting more local gigs, I was trying to consciously do that more, more local musicians and things. But after lockdown, it was like, right, okay, so I'm really focused on I am Mr. North Wexford now, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
In my little house by the sea, doing my live streams. I'm not really going anywhere, and that's pretty much really what has been since then, you know.
Oh, it has been, yeah, of course, for like a year.
The Croaking to the Sea was kind of a quite an important thing at the time of like, okay, well, this is kind of me where I am right now and what I'm thinking, and it was kind of it's got that sort of big open sound to it. And I recorded it there, right? Like that little recording is just me on the cliffs with my mobile phone. It's on my album. It's on the new album. With a better audio quality recording, in case anybody thinks it's
yeah. Of course, it's properly produced and stuff. Yeah, we'll give it a spin, and let's have a listen to. You pronounce it Crogan, not Crohan. Yeah, Crogan to the Sea.
I had to learn that. I got a fierce amount of abuse off the locals. Crogan.
Did you? Okay, well, we pronounced it right for the locals tonight. Crogan to the Sea. Robin James Hurt, folks. Beautiful instrumental piece. Check it out. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Coggin to the sea.
Mm.
Was that a Martin guitar I spied?
That's a D28. Yeah, I bought that for lockdown, actually. That was one of the things. I had a whole load of things going this year, and I had a diary full of gigs. And just in February, I splashed the cash and bought this amazing second-hand D28. And it's like, and that's going to pay for itself with all the gigs I've got.
Of course it is.
With all my money, like you say.
Ridiculous. Oh, I know the feeling I have for you here too. Yeah,
it's it's worth it. It's worth it. I don't, and even at the time, I remember saying I was in a singer-songwriter night in Arklow nearby here, and I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, Mary Thomas and Jerry Power, and I was saying about the guitar and said, I said, like, there's a leak in my kitchen roof, my extension roof, and because I own the house myself, there's no landlord to fix it. I'm gonna have to get the roof fixed and everything. And Jerry was saying, I've got a leak in the roof in the shop. I've had that for years in my music shop. Don't worry, just put a bucket on the roof. Get the guitar. Get the guitar.
Don't mind the roof.
The leak has never been fixed. It'll never be fixed. I did regret getting the guitar. It's been great. It was because I had a Martin before. I was playing a Martin for years. It was kind of like a J18. It was a big jumbo body with mahogany back and sides. And that was my sort of signature guitar for years. Yeah. And I was like playing it for all my solo stuff. I wrote all the tunes on it, the instrumental tunes and things. And then that D28 turned up. And it even though it's a Martin as well, because it's different wood, it's rosewood back and sides, and it's different body size. It's just a totally different sound. And it's exactly what I was after. But it's made me, between that and not playing out and about so much, playing at home more, my style of guitar playing has changed a bit. I'm kind of refining it and playing it a little bit more softly than I used to with the strumming and things, which is great because you have to with that guitar. It's not quite got the same bottom end that the other one has. So it's actually really benefiting me as a singer, because I'm learning with all these acoustic live streams as well. I'm kind of getting a bit more thing of just getting my vocal tone and my guitar tone really well balanced and hanging back on the guitar a bit more and letting the voice just come out a bit more without having a mic to do it for me.
Absolutely. And of course there's a big difference, isn't there, as you well know, between playing concert gigs and playing bar gigs.
Exactly.
The way you have to hold back if we go up we've all played lots of bar gigs where you kind of have to shout your songs at people, and then suddenly you're in a concert situation where it's pin drop situation, and you have to realize you have to kind of hold yourself back from going full bull. Are you predominantly a dadgad man or standard, or what do you kind of?
It depends what kind of things I'm
comfortably
doing.
Between both. Yeah,
dadgad, standard, and open G tuning as well.
You like open G? Okay.
Open G, dadgad, and standard, and then a couple of things I do with kind of dadgad with the high D up to an E. So dad gay.
Yeah, dad gay. Yeah, indeed. So therefore, you've got three Martins for all of those tunings. Yeah,
that's
three D28s. Is that how you?
That'd be the plan. That'd be great.
Eventually. Yeah. It's a good excuse to buy guitars when you're.
It's been great having that D28. It's been a real. That was another kind of benchmark thing last year for me, getting that guitar and kind of getting just the way it changed my my playing and stuff, and it got me more. Well, between that and the lockdown, I suddenly got more creative in terms of writing, because when you're gigging all the time, you're on the road all the time. I find half the time when I get home, I don't want to pick up a guitar. I'd just be chilling out and kind of just maybe listening to music, but not getting really into the creative process. And then when the lockdown thing arrived, and last March and April, all of a sudden it was like, by the first week of April was when I wrote Croaking to the Sea. And then I wrote another instrumental a few weeks after that. And I was like, bloody hell, I've written 2 things in a year. That's fantastic. That's good for me. That's very good going. And then it's gone on more recently, as well as learning a lot of more trad songs and things. And also with a live stream thing, I was getting a lot of requests from people. Some requests just for covers to learn different covers and things that would be well out of my comfort zone, which was fun. But also then people suggesting other Irish traditional songs, or like an American woman, a good friend of mine, Wendy from Pennsylvania, said she had roots in Longford. Did I know any Longford songs? I said, no, I don't. But I have friends from Longford as well, so it'd be a nice idea to try and learn one. So there's a song called The Longford Weaver, which is kind of an interesting one because it's actually basically a rewrite of a Glasgow Irish song called Nancy Whiskey, kind of a Glasgow Irish music hall song called Nancy Whiskey, and that is it's a Glaswegian song, but it came from the Irish community in Glasgow, and it is popular in Ireland as well. But it mentions Glasgow in it. Basically, somebody rewrote it slightly and changed Glasgow to Longford. Like even as Longford City, Longford isn't a city as far as I know, but Longford City is a lyric in the song because it's not Glasgow City. So the Longford Weaver.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because
it's a great little story song in its own right. And the only version I could find was Andy Irvin's version, which was him singing and playing. I'm not sure what he was playing, but it was like it wasn't a string. It was like it's like
a hurdy-gurdy or something.
I think it was a hurdy-gurdy.
I think it was a hurdy-gurdy on the Purple album, yeah.
That's it. So that's it. It was hurdy. So
I call it a dry lyre out here. Yeah.
Try to do my own sort of interpretation of it on the guitar. So I kind of worked it out my own way and then wrote an instrumental thing that went on the end of it and stuff. And that, again, that's one of my kind of, it's not like a conventional singer-songwriter thing, but it's an interesting thing to get a lyric, put your own music into it.
It's a great skill, though, to be able to interpret and make something your own. And I know we're going to finish the program later on with another one of those great songs, Arthur McBride, which we've got lined up as well. To tackle something as big as the Longford Weaver, Arthur McBride, they're big, monstrous songs, and to be able to put your own twist on them is great. It's an art and a craft in itself, Robin, as well. You know. Yeah, and you do that very well. That's absolutely one of your strong points in what you do. It sure is.
I remember playing a gig up in where was the place? Ballymena. First solo album came out. I got some PR kind of stuff up in the north. I was doing a lot of stuff up in the north. I played a gig in Ballymena, and there was a band from Belfast playing as well. And I was sound checking. I sound checked with Arthur McBride. And the sound engineer, somebody said, like, you know, or somebody from the support band said, oh, that sounds good. Blah, blah, what's that? I said, it's an old traditional song. I put my own music to it, and I kind of got a bunch of different versions of it and made my own kind of lyrical version of all these different versions of the song, and then wrote my own music and wrote my own melody. And they were like, "What'd you bother doing that for? Why didn't you just write your own song?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's the point?" Like I didn't say that in my head. Yeah. That's the fucking point. That's the whole point, is trying to do something interesting with it. Like, you know, that's the whole point.
Absolutely. Ben Spears asked Robin about McAlpines as well. I suppose that's
stuff. McAlpines Fusiliers is another kind of Irish traditional song, and that's one I recorded it before. I recorded it on an EP a few years ago called Ballads and Stramashes with the band of Moonlight Love, this kind of bunch of guys and girls that I sort of play with, this collective of people. We had a big loud version that we did in the studio, and it was great. Big kicking version. And then when I started doing these live streams, I started kind of finishing them with that song, because just before the lockdown thing started, just at the beginning of 2020, I started kind of finishing my gigs with McAlpines, and it's become a kind of a fun song to finish with. So I just started doing that in the live streams, and people latched onto it, and that became a thing. There was a few songs that ended up, the album that I've got, the new album that I've got, actually, here it is here. It's called Live from Kilmichael, and you can get it on Bandcamp or on my website, and as it's there, yeah, exactly, down there. And that's my dog Dougal on the cover as well.
There's Dougal out in the dog
in the background, and
gorgeous.
And there we are again. And so basically, that was partly funded by people kind of tipping me from the live streams. Like the money, that money went towards funding the album, and so in return for that, I did a couple of kind of requests from people that were like regular supporters. And Ben was one that particularly was looking for McAlpines Fusiliers to finish the album, because the idea of the album was to kind of be similar to the live streams and to kind of be like a audio, a little bit more three-dimensional audio, because there's no video, but just basically me here, which is what we did. We recorded it in my house. The producer is a friend of mine. He came down here with really good microphones and set them up right here in the front room, right where I do the live streams. And we just recorded it live, and it was great. You know, we did a tiny little bit of overdub in a studio in Dublin, just some banjo and backing vocal things and a foot stomp thing, and that was it. It was just all live, just done here, just the same way as the live streams. So that was a nice vibe, you know.
Absolutely, and it's a great sounding album. I have heard it, and you did a great job, and the producer did a great job on it too. I was going to ask you about Tony Floyd Kenna of
Tony is,
you wrote a great song with Tony.
Yeah, Tony is a singer-songwriter from Dublin, and I actually know him a good few years, but never really, like, we never collaborated on anything or anything. We just kept going our separate ways, but we were friends, and I'd been to a few of his gigs and his singer-songwriter night things and stuff, and I enjoyed his work, and he got in touch with me with the lyrics. Initially, this next song here was the first one, and said, I've got the lyrics. I thought you might have some music for them. So, again, it was like, this will be interesting. So I did. I kind of put some music, like printed them out, looked at them for a few days, for a couple of weeks, and then eventually some musical ideas started coming, and the song came out of it, and it turned out really well. I've just done a few more with him since then, and it's just at the rough stage of just acoustic recordings, like the video here. They're not actually even properly demoed yet or anything, but it's going really well, and it's been a really fun outlet for me. It's different from working with trad lyrics. And it's different from working with like poets giving me stuff and things. That song turned out as a real kind of a pop thing, quite a sort of when I first heard it in my head, I was like, God, it's going to sound like a show band song or something. but that was how it started off in my head, as this kind of like country show band song, and then it became, I was like, okay, like let's make something sensible out of this. So I kind of refined it a bit. But it's fun, it's great. Like I really enjoyed doing stuff with it, and people enjoyed it immediately, and people have been getting. And all the songs that I've done with him that I've been playing on the live streams, people have been saying, "Wow, I wish I had that on my iPhone when I'm going to work."
It's great. As you said, it reaches so many people. These streams,
yeah, it's good. So yeah, brilliant.
It really does. The old live streams are great. They reach a lot of people, and you bring them into your living room as you do here too.
Tony, like I said, Tony's words. He's got a way with words. He really does. He's a great lyricist, and I just find the way that he writes words. I know something about it just has a groove that I like and I can relate to and that I enjoy working with, as you'll hear.
As we'll hear, absolutely. So, Take Me Home was the name of the song, written by T.F. Kenna and yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a cracking track. So, without further ado, let's take it home. Take Me Home. Here it is.
Carolina Station, take me home. Leaving the platform in a place I know. Done with working on the foreign shore. Carolina Station, take me home once more. I was a second son on a small rocky farm, destined to leave from the day I was born. School fed and clothed, prepared for the day, for a seat with my name to a place far away. I took the train and the boat to a strange foreign shore, rebuild that country ravaged by war. Worked well with good pay, but always a sign. Carolina Station, take me home. Feeding the platform in a place I know. I'm done with working on a foreign shore. Carolina Station, take me home once more. I never settled or wanted to be one of them. An immigrant worker, nobody's son. The decades passed by with few letters from home, but my brother did right when my parents were gone. Killala Station, take me home. Feeding the platform in a place I know. Done with working on a foreign shore. Killala Station, take me home once more. Hey! Still time has erased a few friends that I've made who worked alongside with pickaxe and spade. This time is unkind, am I living too long? But I stand just once more in a place where I'm known. Killala Station, take me home. Feeding the platform in a place I know. Done with working on a foreign shore. Killala Station, take me home once more. Killala Station, take me home. Feeding the platform in a place unknown. Done with working on a foreign shore. Killala Station, take me home once more. To step off the train in Ireland once more. Close my eyes tight and smile as I die. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home.
Killala Station, Take Me Home. That is a powerful song, really.
Thanks.
Love rocking sound there off that, Martin. It's a fab machine.
I have to say fair play to Tony. Tony is patient with me, taking liberties not taking liberties, changing a few words. When he gave me the lyrics, it was actually Castlebar Station, and I couldn't get Castlebar Station to sit, and it sounded too low bandy. So I moved a little bit further west, and Killala did. Castlebar still has a station, but Killala did used to have a railway station. So,
it does. It fits very well.
Yeah, it's kind of scanned better, you know. With the
yes,
rhyming.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a great song, and thanks to both of you there. So what's next? Sorry.
I'm going to be keeping writing those songs, and hopefully at some stage over the year, like over the next wee while. Be nice to find some way when we're able to recording them and do like an EP or an album or something. Tony, you know. And other than that, myself, I'm going to be doing an EP later this year with a couple of new things and a couple of songs that were sort of we recorded more songs than we used for the Live from Kilmichael album. There's like 11 songs on the album. We recorded 20 songs, so there's a few other ones. There's a couple of ones particularly that I'd really like to get out there, you know. So I'm planning to try and do an EP sometime in the year with a couple of unreleased songs from that and a couple of 4-track demos from my cassette 4-track things that I do here.
Back in the day.
Oh yeah, nice. Well, I've still got my Tascam Porter Studio. I love recording on that.
Have you? Do you still recording that? Yeah.
So there's some things that I've done on that I'd be interested in trying to kind of get mastered and mixed properly and kind of released on maybe on an EP or something with other stuff.
Great.
You know?
Sounds lovely.
So that's the plan, and then also the stuff with Tony, and just kind of I'm going to be keeping doing the live streams, the Sunday things for a while because there's no gigs, there's nothing else to do.
That's tomorrow. What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock Irish time.
Irish time, 10 o'clock in European time. And yeah, and I'm going to do more online things as well over the year, videos and different things and stuff from here. I'm going to utilize my time at home well, you know. That's the
Good
plan.
man. That's it. That's all you can do is keep the flag flying and find a way forward.
And keep walking the dog. Keep walking the dog.
I was gonna, yeah, but you have to bring Dougal out now shortly as well. It must be raring to go now. Absolutely. But it was as always, you know, an hour flies on these things. But it was really great to have you on the show.
Thanks,
Robin. Great to catch up with you and chat you. There's no way I would have remembered you from the Murphy sessions back in Dublin in the 90s. I'm glad you mentioned it. It was crazy. I mean, I seen Glenn Hansard walk in there, Luca Bloom, lots of.
I know.
Monday walked in. You'd be just there on a Tuesday night. It is a hitchhike from Offaly up to Dublin to do these things and then try and find a place to crash and get a train back. I mean, I was so into doing them. But it was such a special room. Dave Murphy ran an amazing thing up there.
And like the amount of people that would turn up, like the amount of random people, like random,
randoms,
unknown people that are amazing, random famous people, just random magical things that would happen. It was brilliant, like the random.
It was
fantastic.
And completely acoustic, and pin drop. You'd stand up with it,
and
be 60, 70 in the room.
Ruthless. He was ruthless with it. He was nobody could say a word. You remember?
No, he was brilliant. It was just like
he'd flare evils at you if there's anybody talking while somebody was playing, and it could be a complete beginner or it could be Glenn Hansard. It could be anybody. They all got the same. It was like
everybody got the same treatment.
Everybody gets the same. Everybody gets a fair try, which was great.
That's why it was amazing. You could just do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it very well. I loved it. Yeah. So tomorrow night, anyway, folks, you're watching this tonight or watching it on Sunday morning, perhaps. Sunday night will be the full live stream. You do it. You'll put a link on your page, Robin. I suppose on your band page. So people will have that from this stream, and they'll find you. They'll find you.
Oh yeah, every Sunday night, and every Sunday 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or wherever you are, you'll find me here playing the songs, having the crack, and all that sort of stuff.
What was the biggest challenge about putting a twist on this next song? We're going to finish off with this classic Arthur McBride. Was it challenging to kind of to do it because you're brave to take it on, you know?
Again, I kind of thought about it for a while before I did it. I thought about it and just had the idea tossing over my head. And it was before social media, but we had like a fairly rough internet connection in the flat I was in, and I had a desktop and I was online. It's about 2004, I think it was around 2004, researched a whole bunch of different websites that had Arthur McBride. Like there was like a site from Utah. There was a Scottish American website based in Utah in the States for expats. And thanks very much, Stephen. Thanks.
Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. You're right. It's correct.
And thank you to Chris as well there earlier, and everybody there that's been commenting. Thank you. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody. Yeah.
All these different versions of this song, and I found that it has its roots in northeastern Scotland, in Ireland, a couple of different parts of Ireland, and also East Anglia in England. There are all these different versions. Which you quite often get this with folk songs, and something you think is an Irish song is actually an English song, or vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah.
It's funny. So this one there's a lot more to it than just the Paul Brady version, which is what people always refer to. And Paul Brady is magnificent. It's incredible. It's a work of genius, and I love it. But I always kind of had a thing that I thought the guitar arrangement is beautiful, but the lyrics are it's a full-on song. Like it's about
a full-on song,
scrap, beating the squaddies nearly to death, sort of thing. Like real full-on fight between these army guys and the two lads on Christmas morning. It's an aggressive song, and I thought it needs more aggressive music. It needs something a bit more than the. So I just stayed up once I got the lyrics all sorted out and had the whole thing in a thing that I liked. Again, I was at that thing of just kind of that I'm still doing now with Tony's things, looking at words and leaving them around and picking them up and looking at them and going, something kind of starts to form in your head, and then you set some time aside late at night, whatever, pick up a guitar and start messing about, And I remember I had to write that one on an electric guitar because my ex-wife was in the bedroom. We were in a tiny flat and she had to get for work in the morning. So I was on an electric guitar tuned to Dad.
Where are you? Yeah.
In the front room, with a bottle of wine, running away trying to think this thing out at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, oh, stick with it. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. And it came together. And it's served me right. I've done many a gig with it since then, you know. So
oh, it's a great version. And we'll finish off the stream with this song. I just think it's a great one to finish with. It's starting to become almost a Christmas classic because Christmas is mentioned in the song. It's taken over the world as it has started to become one of these Christmas classic songs, but it's a classic anyway, and you do a mighty job in it. And I want to wish you all the very best for the new year, and hopefully the gigs will come back soon. Fingers crossed.
Thank you
Robin,
very much.
that you get back out gigging, and people will be delighted when that happens, and I hope it happens soon for you and for everyone else.
And
we'll keep the faith, keep writing great songs, keep working on the songs you're working on, and making those great EPs and CDs. And
thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
And the very best of luck with your new baby, your new baby Martin.
Oh yeah, Valentine, because I got her the day before Valentine's Day. I don't normally name my guitars, but I named that one, so that's Valentine. So I've got Valentine here, and I've got Dougal, and we're all good.
You're all good with Valentine and Dougal. You can't go wrong. Thank you very much, Robin. Take very good care of yourself. Hang on here for a second. After I say goodbye, we'll have a chat.
Will do, of course.
All the very best, and thanks a million.
Cheers.
There you go. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was the great Robin James Hurt and his great music. And thank you all very much for tuning in. Those of you who left comments, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and share this video for not only for me, but for Robin James as well. Get it out there. Let people hear his work. Much appreciated. I'm back again on Wednesday night. We're trying to broadcast Wednesdays and Saturdays here on Raving with Rua. Havel Arand is my guest on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Great singer-songwriter from the US of A. I hope you'll join us then. We're going to leave you with this great version of Arthur McBride from the man himself. Check it out, Robin James Hurt from his Market House EP. Great version, great song. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and see you Wednesday, all going to plan. Arthur McBride, thanks very much to Robin James Hurt, and thank you all very much. See you next time.
Well, I once had a cousin named Arthur McBride, and we went a walking down by the seaside, seeking good fortune and what might betide, for it being on Christmas morning. And as we went a walking along the sea sand, well, we met Sergeant Napier and a Corporal O'Hand and a little wee drummer, intending to camp, for it being on Christmas morning. Said the sergeant, my lads, if ye would enlist, it's 5 guineas in gold I will clap in your fist, and a crown in a bargain to kick up the dust and drink the king's health in the morning. For if you go with us, for sure you'll go clean, and in the finest of garments you'll be constantly seen. And we're not like poor fellas gone dirty and mean, got nothing but gruel in the morning. No faith, says Arthur. Well, I ken it myself. I wouldn't have gone way and tearing at your tail. And we ken all you have our 2 shillings today to get you some chat in the morning. And you needn't be bragging about all your fine clothes, 'cause you've only to lend of them, as I suppose. And you dare not sell them one night, you know that you will be flogged without warning. Well, they're here, said the sergeant. Well, I'll have no more of that from you or from any young cow-feeding brat. And if you insult me with more of your chat, we'll run through you here as you're standing. But before they had time to draw out their blades, our whacking shillelaghs came over their heads, and we soon let them see that we were the lads that could temper the pearls without warning. And the little wee drummer, well, we flattened his bow, and we made a football out of his rowdy doughter. Kick it into the ocean, to rock and to roll, and paid it a grievous returning. And the old rusty rapiers that hung by their sides, well, we flung them as far as we could in that tide. May your deal get well, cried Arthur McBride, if ever we see them returning.